welcome back to Prime of the Night. I'm your host, Midnight Moon, and I am here with you today with Damgood. How are you doing today, Damgood?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for having me on the show, Mr. Moon. I'm really excited to get into some history, some good conversation. I'm ready to just have a
Absolutely
great
wonderful.
conversation.
Good. All right, well, let's just get right into it. So,
Absolutely.
let's start with a little bit of your origins. I heard that you were in a Zeroist nation in the northwest, was it?
It yeah, in Eldham, it was called Harabia, and basically what occurred in Harabia was there was sort of a fascist dictator that was in play there. His name was Pickle on a Stick, or in lore Anastikov. Now, I was originally a key member in this government until I realized that, you know what, fascism's not really that good. So I staged a coup d'etat with the support of the military, and I created a sort of um, Zeroist nation based on strictly anti-fascist ideals, which I coined the term Maximism for it. That was sort of the ideology at the time. Then this coup d'etat led to a ton of internal issues, specifically with people who are not big fans of the coup d'etat, which led to a huge war that that eventually had half of the people in Harabia either leaving because they didn't like the government, or sort of just giving up.
I see. What was it like to be the leader of a communist revolution?
I would say that what a sort of communist revolution, um, when you have the support of the military, bringing them in, starting this coup d'état, getting like a powerful grasp on the nation, both in a military sense, it's really hard to get control of them in a cultural regime because they're so used to, the fascist ideals of, our nation is better than others, nationalist ideas, that you really have to sort of re-educate them. And my entire administration, until the end of Eldham itself, during the Rathnir Eldham collapse, sort of involved trying to trying to convince people and clear them of their past, xenophobic ideals.
I see. Yes, that's always quite the issue when trying to instill a new regime, the whole old loyalists of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and when I referred to, half of the Hera population sort of leaving, uh, those were just the people who were super, super big fans of the past regime. Like half of them were sort of gone, and then this was around the end of Eldham, so the other half kind of just gave up because, they didn't want to try again for a new world. Abexilis has kind of caused a lot of people to sort of, give up. But now I'm here, so, and I'm doing great.
I see that. I mean, look around this room. It's filled with history. Do you mind talking about that a little bit? Like what this room is, where we are, current stuff?
Okay. Right now we are in Zalatra, specifically the industrial capital of Zalatra, Lasaji. Now, I am rebuilding the Harabian movement through a sort of union within Zalatra known as the United Harab Front. Now, this union is trying to rebuild and preserve the past culture of Eldham. Now, not the fascist type, specifically the Maximist type, the one that respects the religion, the national religion, the Children of Ogar, but also understanding our fascist roots and trying to revitalize and sort of lead us down the right path away from that. That's sort of what my union's trying to build here.
I see. So I can't help but notice the giant orb in the background. Mind explaining that
the
real
orb-
quick?
Oh, the orb. I have one of your previous how do you say previous guests. My bad. John Stoneworks. I'd like to say that I'm friends with him. He came on by. We had like a talk. We played a little board game, some board games there, and he was like, "Hey, do you want an orb in your office?" And I'm like, "Of course I want an orb in my office because, you know, Zalatra being a secular state, they couldn't accept it, a religious gift. So John was completely fine with giving it to me, as I'm a sort of high up member in Zalatran government, and that's how the orb is still here today."
I see. Yes, John. Wow. John is quite the influential figure. I feel like he's talked to a lot of us and have... What's a good phrasing?
He leaves breadcrumbs everywhere he goes.
Yes, he's touched our souls in a way where a lot of people... Yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that. I do apologize.
It's all good, man.
Moving on. What about the future? Where do you wish to go with all of this? Bringing it back Harabia and stuff, possibly.
Right now, I don't plan on bringing back a state. I feel like my job right now is to sort of bring back the strong community that we once had. Now, a lot of that was credited due to, Anastikov's, cultural connection with everyone, but that sort of has, fascist roots to it, especially like the extermination of Makerists specifically, which I condone. I do not support that whatsoever. But my plan is just build a stronger community here, not rebuild Harabia as a state yet. Actually, not at all within Zalatra. Zalatra is a fine nation, and I would not want to cause any trouble with like a revolution or whatnot.
So not bring back Harabia, but more or less bring back the strength of its culture.
Yes. You said it better than I could, and less words. But right now, how I'm sort of passing the time here is I've put myself in a government. I was first a Kelatai representative, which was like the House of Representatives for the Americans here. a solid comparison. Then I became the construction commissariat, where I made a national cemetery for our to protect the people who have passed within Zalatra, and to really sort of gather the people around this one nation. Like I believe I've said before this, Zalatra's sort of in a dump culturally. It's not sustainable. Politically, it has a clear motive, and I'm happy about that. Having an entire nation under a belief of socialist unity is lovely. Any nation that can have a sort of political camaraderie like that is already on the right track. But culturally, you have these different types of people, different types of ideas on how their characters should go and express. They don't have any sort of commonality behind it. And the construction of the monument was sort of a way to combine them and to sort of be like, yeah, we all die. maybe we should be more culturally cohesive. Sorry.
I agree with you there. It's always good to honor the fallen.
Absolutely.
All right. Well.
And sorry.
Oh no, please, by all means, you go ahead.
And I'm for the future, which, just to get to your question, the future is just building this little organization of mine, playing some board games, and just enjoying the rest of my time.
Fair enough.
That's sort of it.
So kind of settling down a bit.
Of course.
That sounds rather pleasant. Well,
Yeah.
I think that about wraps it up. Damn good. One final question for you. If you had one thing to say to the people of Abexilis, what would that be?
Um, Making an impact in your community, in like stoneworks in general, it requires a bit of effort. It requires a bit of time, and it requires a bit of dedication. But anyone can do it. Like we can talk about John, we can talk about Uni, but in my case, not as famous as those two. If you put your effort in and you put your time into it, you can really leave a mark on Stoneworks history. Simply. Of
Well
excellent history.
said. Well said indeed. Well then, yes, like I said, that about wraps it up. Thank you all for tuning into the podcast today, and I will see you all in the next one. And this was Damgood. If you ever see him, come say hi. He's pretty nice.
Thank you. You flatter me. Dick. I said a
Yeah.
couple of things.